I'm using my GoPro 3 now rather than my GoPro 4. I'm not too sure on the quality of this one. I'm not even sure if my mic's working. I do apologise. We're just heading back through from, I forget the name of it, I think it's Seacliff Bridge. Heading towards National Park. Gonna do some flybys around some corners. And then we're gonna head through Waterfall Way. So I'm gonna try and take this chance to talk about just a conversation I had with my mate just before. And that was just about cornering. He approached me and he asked how am I getting my angles and my corners and etc. And I told him straight up, I said, I'm no expert. I only have more experience. I sat through and I had a chat to him about it, and I said, there's 4 elements that I'm aware of at this point. And everything I'm going to say comes straight out of the riding Bible, twist of a wrist. If you haven't read it, if you haven't gone through and seen what it's all about, I highly recommend you check out the video, you read the books, and you'll see what I'm talking about's all in there. So the first thing, throttle control. All about being smooth on your throttle as you're going through the corner. And the reason that is that you want to maintain a constant speed. You don't want to be choppy and changing your speed while you're going through a corner. You actually start stuffing around with your suspension. Now, your suspension plays a big part in this, in cornering. On its stand, you have about 50% of the weight at the front and 50% of the weight at the rear. And bikes are actually designed to cruise along at 40% of the weight at the front and 60% of the weight at the rear. So to achieve that, we use our acceleration. You want to try and maintain that 40-60 throughout a corner. So when you're going through a corner, you want to make sure you're applying a gradual amount of throttle. So you don't want to be going through the corner, you just want to literally roll it on. And that's going to help you for traction, that's going to make you feel confident. You don't want to be going through a corner and just throwing your hand off the accelerator. That's probably one of the worst things you can do. So I'm going to go through and explain these things one by one. And again, I'm no expert, I just have some experience behind it. Because when I was a beginner, I constantly looked up on YouTube trying to find where my riding was wrong. And I was always scared to go to a track day because I was embarrassed of my ability. And I've come to realize that you shouldn't be embarrassed about your ability, because that's why you actually go to these track days. You got throttle control as the first one. The second one is finding your turning points. Try and find as many straight lines through the corner as possible. So if you have a head pin, for example, you want to try and make an L shape out of it. Obviously it's not going to happen, but that's what you're achieving. So this corner up ahead, I'm going to throttle, slowly increasing. And that's just an example of throttle control. This one I'm going to try and do my turning point. So quick steer now. And just try to get that straight line for the corner. A little bit harder when you're riding behind someone. It's just where you can turn the bike at the last second to really dip it over. And the third point is quick steering. And that's where, rather than just gradually going, yeah, 1, 2, 3, you're really just tipping it. You're really just going, yep, steering in, like that. And it's a scary thought doing it. It really is. You think, okay, if I do this quick, it's going to throw me off. Well, not necessarily. I'd say gradually increase your speed doing it while you're riding. You'll start getting a feel for it. And the last point was, the other one was being soft with your hands, your arms. Don't be so tight on the bike. You want to be very loose. You don't have to fight the bike to how you want it to go. If you're at that point, you know, you've entered wrong. So you want to be really soft on it. You You'll see that up here when I chase these guys down. So, on a sports bike, you should just be able to wiggle your arms like so. Don't be so tight on it. Looking through the corner, and that's pretty self-explanatory. You don't want to be looking at something that's going to end up being your undoing. So for example, if I'm coming too fast, I don't want to look at a fence I'm about to run into. You want to keep looking through the corner. And I'm going to make videos on those points individually, trying to practice each one.